Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving into some recent news coming out of the FAA.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically those firings that happened
Right
after that tragic plane crash in D.C.
Yeah.
We've got an article here from the Associated Press that's laying it all out for us.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation with a lot of layers to it.
Right.
And the timing is,
For sure.
yeah, it raises some eyebrows.
So this article says the Trump administration fired hundreds of FAA employees.
Wow.
And get this, it happened on a busy travel weekend.
Oh, geez.
Just weeks after that mid-air collision at Reagan National Airport.
Right.
You know, the one with the Army helicopter and the passenger jet?
Yes. A collision with fatalities always brings a lot of scrutiny, especially when it involves both military and civilian aircraft.
The article says one air traffic controller was managing both commercial airline and helicopter traffic
Oh, wow.
when the crash occurred.
Oh, my gosh.
Trying to juggle all that on a busy travel weekend, no less.
Right.
That sounds incredibly demanding.
It definitely highlights the complexity of the air traffic controller's role.
For sure.
And raises questions about whether staffing levels are adequate
Yeah.
to handle peak traffic situations.
And the article points out that this isn't a new concern.
Right.
Federal officials have been worried about understaffing for years, citing things like uncompetitive pay, tough training, long shifts, and mandatory retirements.
These are long-standing issues within the FAA that deserve careful examination,
Definitely.
especially in light of this recent incident.
Okay, so here's where it gets even more intriguing.
Okay.
The article says that those fired were all probationary workers, essentially new hires.
Right.
And they were notified late on a Friday night
Oh, no.
through emails from a generic exec order Microsoft account.
Wow.
Not even an official government address.
The method of notification is certainly unusual. If it wasn't performance-based, then the question becomes what factors led to these dismissals?
It's exactly. The article quotes David Sparrow, who heads the Professional Aviation Safety Specialists Union.
Okay.
He says that these firings were without cause nor based on performance or conduct.
That statement definitely adds to the complexity of the situation.
It really does.
And raises questions about the decision-making process behind the firings.
One of the fired workers, Charles Spitzer Statlander, is quoted in the article saying he believes he was let go
Okay.
because he criticized Tesla and X, formerly Twitter,
Right.
both companies by, you guessed it, Elon Musk.
That's an interesting detail given Musk's connection to this Trump administration.
Yeah.
He's currently leading Trump's efforts to downsize the federal government. It's all happening through this new Department of Government Efficiency.
Wait, hold on. We've got a fatal crash, concerns about understaffing hundreds of firings,
Right.
and now a potential link to criticisms of Elon Musk.
It does appear to be a multifaceted situation with potentially significant ramifications for the FAA.
And to make things even more complicated, all of this happens just days after President Trump fired the entire Aviation Security Advisory Committee,
Oh, wow.
a group created specifically to oversee airline and airport safety.
This sequence of events certainly raises a lot of questions about the administration's approach to aviation safety.
It does.
And the potential impact of these decisions.
So let's start by unpacking those concerns about understaffing at the FAA.
Okay.
What exactly are the issues?
Right.
And how might these firings exacerbate them?
Well, as the article mentions, there are a number of factors contributing to the staffing challenges at the FAA.
Okay.
Pay is a big one.
Right.
Air traffic controllers have a high-stress job with a ton of responsibility.
Right.
But their pay hasn't always kept pace with similar roles in the private sector.
I can see that.
Yeah, so this makes it really hard to attract and retain those experienced controllers.
If you're responsible for the safety of hundreds of passengers in the air, you'd want to be compensated fairly.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the starting salary either. It's about the structure of the pay scale and opportunities for advancement. You know, a promising controller might be tempted to leave for a better offer if they feel like their growth potential is limited at the FAA.
So even if someone starts at the FAA, they might be lured away by higher salaries and better opportunities elsewhere.
Exactly.
Okay.
And beyond pay, there's the issue of working conditions.
Right.
Air traffic controllers often work long and irregular hours, including nights, weekends, and holidays.
Wow.
The pressure to make split-second decisions in high-stress situations adds another layer of difficulty.
I can only imagine you're constantly monitoring multiple aircraft, making sure they're maintaining safe distances,
Right.
dealing with unexpected events. It Sounds pretty intense.
It definitely requires a unique skill set and a high tolerance for pressure.
Yeah.
And the training process itself is quite demanding,
Yeah.
which can discourage some potential candidates from even entering the field.
The article also mentioned mandatory retirements for air traffic controllers.
Right.
How does that factor into the staffing problem?
Well, air traffic controllers are required to retire at age 56.
Okay.
While this rule ensures that controllers are physically and mentally fit for this demanding job,
Right.
it also means a constant loss of experienced personnel.
So it seems like all these factors, pay, working conditions, training, and mandatory retirements,
Right.
create a real challenge for the FAA when it comes to staffing.
It's a complex puzzle.
Yeah.
And these recent firings only add to the complexity,
Uh-huh.
with hundreds of employees suddenly gone,
Right.
including those involved in critical areas like radar and navigation.
Oh, wow.
It raises concerns about whether the remaining workforce can handle the workload,
Yeah.
especially during those peak travel times.
Right. And we're not just talking about potential delays or disruptions.
Right.
There are legitimate concerns about whether this could impact safety.
That's a very valid concern.
Yeah.
The recent crash at Reagan National, where a single controller was managing both airplanes and helicopters, highlights the potential consequences of an already strained system becoming even more stretched.
And then there's the issue of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee.
Right.
The article mentioned that President Trump fired the entire committee
That's right.
just days before these FAA firings.
This committee was established after the Pan Am bombing in 1988.
Wow.
And played a crucial role in overseeing and advising on airline and airport safety measures.
So what happens now that they're gone?
Right.
Who's going to provide that independent oversight and expertise?
That's a key question. The committee's dismissal raises concerns about who will be responsible for identifying potential safety gaps and recommending improvements.
This whole situation with the firings, the crash, and the committee's dismissal, it creates this sense of unease, a feeling that maybe things aren't as secure as we thought.
It's understandable that people are feeling apprehensive.
Yeah.
These events raise legitimate questions about the direction of aviation safety and the priorities of those in charge.
And let's not forget the Elon Musk connection.
Right.
One of the fired workers believes he was targeted for criticizing Musk's companies.
That claim, if true, adds another layer of complexity to this whole situation.
Right.
It brings up questions about whether personal opinions or political affiliations might be influencing decisions that should be based solely on qualifications and job performance.
It's a worrying thought.
It is.
The safety of air travel shouldn't be subject to personal biases or political agendas.
Right.
It should be based on objective assessments and the expertise of qualified professionals.
Absolutely. Transparency and accountability are crucial in ensuring public trust.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to something as critical as aviation safety.
So where do we go from here?
Right.
What can be done to address these concerns and ensure that air travel remains safe and reliable?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
There are a lot of factors at play here, and it will take a concerted effort from all stakeholders to find solutions.
Like what, for example?
Well, for starters, the administration needs to be transparent about the reasons behind these firings. Okay.
And the dismissal of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee.
Right. People need to understand what led to these decisions and what steps are being taken to mitigate any potential negative consequences.
Exactly. And addressing the long-standing staffing challenges within the FAA is crucial.
Okay.
That means taking a serious look at pay, working conditions and training programs to ensure they are competitive and attractive to top talent.
We need to attract the best and brightest to these critical roles.
Absolutely. The safety of air travel depends on having highly skilled and dedicated individuals in these positions. We can't afford to cut corners when it comes to the people responsible for keeping our skies safe.
This situation feels like a bit of a wake-up call.
It is.
It's a reminder that we can't take aviation safety for granted.
It's a complex system with a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And it requires constant vigilance and investment to ensure it continues to operate safely and efficiently.
It seems like we're at a critical juncture.
The decisions made in the coming weeks and months will have a significant impact on the future of the FAA and the safety of air travel.
It's a time for clear-headed leadership, open communication, and a commitment to putting safety above all else.
This whole situation has definitely given me a lot to think about.
And it highlights the importance of staying informed and engaged as citizens.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play in holding our elected officials accountable.
Right.
And ensuring that aviation safety remains a top priority.
It's easy to get caught up in the headlines and all the controversies,
Right?
but I think it's important to remember that behind all this
Yeah,
is this incredibly complex and sophisticated system
right.
that for the most part works remarkably well.
It does.
Thousands of flights take off and land safely every day.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them do so without a hitch.
You're absolutely right. The air traffic control system is a marvel of engineering and human coordination.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the skill and dedication of all the people who work so tirelessly to keep our skies safe.
It's easy to take it for granted when you're sitting comfortably on a plane.
Yeah.
But there's a whole army of professionals working behind the scenes. Air traffic controllers, maintenance crews, engineers, and so many others
Yeah.
who are making that smooth journey possible.
It's a true team effort, and the level of precision and coordination involved is mind-boggling.
It is.
They deserve our respect and appreciation for the vital role they play.
And that's why this whole situation with the firings
Right.
and the dismissal of the advisory committee is so concerning.
Wow.
It feels like we're jeopardizing all that expertise and the dedication that have made air travel so safe.
It's a valid concern. These events raise questions about whether we're adequately investing in the people and the infrastructure that are essential to maintaining that high level of safety.
So what can we as passengers and concerned citizens do to make sure air travel remains safe and reliable?
Well, for starters, we can't be complacent. We need to stay informed about the issues facing the aviation industry and hold our elected officials accountable for making decisions that prioritize safety.
That means reading beyond the headlines,
Yeah.
digging deeper into the complexities of the system,
Yeah.
and understanding the potential consequences of actions like these firings and the dismissal of these expert committees.
Exactly. And we can make our voices heard by contacting our representatives, supporting organizations that advocate for aviation safety, and engaging in a constructive dialogue about these issues.
It's also about being informed and aware. Travelers pay attention to the safety briefings, ask questions if you have concerns, and just be respectful of the professionals who are working so hard to ensure your safety.
Even small actions like that can make a difference.
Yeah.
It shows that you value safety and that you're engaged in the process.
This deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me.
Good.
It's given me a newfound appreciation for the complexity of the air traffic control system
Okay.
and the dedication of the people who keep it running smoothly.
And it's highlighted the importance of staying vigilant, informed, and engaged when it comes to aviation safety. It's a shared responsibility, and we all have a role to play.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's been a fascinating, if somewhat unsettling, exploration
Right.
of a really critical issue.
Yeah.
To all our listeners out there, we encourage you to continue learning, asking questions,
Yes.
and advocating for the safest possible skies.
Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.